Beyond the buzzer, inside the game, this is Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
And away we go, another Monday here on the Sports IQ. Glad you're with us, Larry Smith. Great guest coming up. We're going to talk with Matt Brown of ExtraPointsMB.com. Love talking to Matt and get his insights. We don't bother him very much because he's super busy, but we love our independent sports journalist, and Matt is as good as anybody, and he's going to join us talking about really right now just some things we're seeing, college sports, college basketball, also the legalities right now in college sports, just something we just have not seen as much of as we are right now. And it's like there's never an end. Right? It's like, you think you're going to go to court and there's a decision made, and no, that's not good enough. One side's going to take it to the next level. And so it's we spend as much time in court as we do on court. But anyway, we'll talk with him coming up. And in just a bit as well, it is March Madness time. Next week, begin all the brackets and all the office pools. Well, there's actually a way, and we're going to find out about this, that you can get paid to watch the games. None other than Richard Rip Hamilton joining us talking about that in just a bit, and we'll find out more about that. I'll tell you what, I'm a big pizza guy, big basketball guy, so I'm all ears. I can't wait to hear about this. So lots coming up here in this hour. We'll talk about that. It's going to be just a heck of a week. Conference tournaments happening. We talked last week about, over time, people have always said, oh, the NCAA tournament's got to be so busy. No. This is the week that's crazy. Conference tournament time. This is the one that's nuts. This is the week that's insane. And so hopefully you've stocked up on your favorite beverage, some snacks, maybe you have some extra Tylenol in case things don't go your way. 6 schools already have punched their ticket to the dance, including the Missouri Valley Conference, where 6th seed Northern Iowa pulled off the stunning run of the tournament, 84-69 win over Illinois Chicago, UIC. So for you folks who do brackets, you may want to take note of the Panthers. The last time they made the big dance in 2016, they shocked Texas with a half-court shot at the buzzer for the upset win. In fact, Northern Iowa has 3 tournament appearances, and they have won at least one game in each appearance. Others who have had their travel vouchers punched include Queens College in North Carolina. They won the Atlantic Sun bid for their first ever tournament appearance. High Point is in from the Big South. Tennessee State winning the OVC. We'll talk more about them a bit later. The Tigers in for the first time in so many years. Nolan Smith, what a great job there. 32 years it's been since TSU got in, and so he makes it. Pretty cool story there with him. Also, North Dakota State winning the Summit League, and Long Island University representing the Northeast Conference. And so again, Rod Strickland, the coach there. So many stories already, and we're just getting started here. So that's some of the tournaments that are ongoing. We'll keep up with, again, every week, every day, I should say, we'll keep up with the rest of the tournament goings on and all the conference tournaments on each show every evening as we talk here. The Big Ten closing out its regular season on Sunday. Number 2 ranked Michigan, making it a clean sweep of in-state rival Michigan State. 90-80 the final. Michigan winning 15 straight in conference play. They go 19-1. In the Big Ten. Just insane. Illinois, number 11 in the country, closing out the regular season. It was a scare, 78-72 against a heavily underdog Maryland team. That game was actually played in College Park. This was a single-digit game throughout. Illinois just could not pull away, a team that they blew out in Champaign last month. Freshman David Merkovich had 22 points leading the way for the Illini. On the women's side, well, some interesting conference finals on Sunday. The biggest upset coming in the SEC. Texas and South Carolina split a pair of regular season games, but it was the Longhorns who took the rubber match in this, 78-61. So Texas getting its first ever SEC women's tournament title. In the Big Ten, Iowa, no match for the UCLA Bruins. The Betts sisters led 6 Bruins in double figures as they just pummeled the Hawkeyes, 96-45. Iowa, by the way, 9th ranked team in the country. They upset Michigan to get to the championship game, and they were no match at all for the Bruins. The Big East final is this evening. Number 1, UConn, no trouble punching their ticket to the final. 151 beatdown of Creighton. Duke getting the ACC auto bid, 70-65 win over Louisville. West Virginia also in the Big 12, upsetting TCU, 62-53. One of the guests we have not had on, and boy, we want to apologize because Every time that we talk to Matt Brown, we get smarter, and we realize that we need some education coming up here. So Matt Brown joining us at Extra Points MB. Matt, great to see you again. Hey, listen, we want to jump right in. You had a great article recently about the struggles that Miami of Ohio and this great run they've had this season that they had trying to schedule some power conference teams. So talk about that article, and you said it really went over really well.
I'd be happy to. I understand a lot of national college football, college basketball fans, and even some analysts like Bruce Pearl are upset at the idea of, oh my gosh, Miami should maybe getting an at-large bid. They should get a single-digit seed. They're undefeated, but it is true they have not played an especially challenging out-of-conference schedule here for a major college basketball team. Some of that is because some of the mid-majors that they scheduled that are normally pretty solid teams, like UNC Greensboro, Eastern Kentucky, Maine was a tournament caliber team last year. This year, those teams have really struggled, but also they couldn't get anyone to play them. And you had one of their assistant coaches give an interview with Yahoo yesterday saying, we reached out to 50, 75 teams. They got told no. I filed some open records requests back in early January, and I asked for, I want, here's the 7 staffers involved with scheduling. I want every single email they sent and got back about this year's men's basketball schedule. And I got just within that batch, 19 schools that Miami reached out to that were turned down, and that includes some Big East teams like Marquette. They reached out to Pitt. Pitt said no. Pitt scheduled a different bye game that day and lost anyway. But then also lots of not only high profile Big Ten teams, Illinois, Nebraska, Ohio State, Wisconsin, but then a lot of West Coast teams, because Miami went out to play Air Force and they tried to get BYU or Utah or Oregon or UCLA, and everyone turned them down. And the biggest reason that this happens for teams like Miami is because there's very little incentive for a high major team to take on any kind of mid-major or low-major team that is going to return a lot of talent and could beat them. The way that the net rating and the quad section works right now is you either need quad 1 wins, really top 40, high-profile big teams, or you want to play the worst teams you possibly can and just beat the absolute crap out of them. There's no benefit for an Illinois, and this even came out in the email, to play a good team. We're like, no, we want net rating 300 teams. We want the bottom funded PWIs we can possibly get. We want some NEC kind of teams. And we might look at that and think, well, that's kind of cowardly, but that's just responding to the incentives here to put them in the best position for March.
Yeah, it's the way the net is worked out right now. There's to your point, no incentive to go out and schedule a quad 3 game or a quad 2 game that you might lose.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah, there's zero incentive at all. You're going to have some of those in the massive conferences now. You're going to have 2 or 3 of those quad 3 games possibly in your conference already. You have to play. Why schedule those? Go out and schedule either the very worst, like you said, just to have a bye game to sell and make the fans feel happy, or quad 1 games. In your point, Illinois went to Chicago and Nashville and New York, and of course always the St. Louis game with Missouri to do that. And Illinois, we're picking on Illinois, but like you said, several teams did this.
Oh, yeah, and quite frankly, if I was in Illinois' shoes and I was getting paid $4 million and I needed to get the best seat I possibly could for the tournament, I would do exactly the same thing. And you listen to Miami's coaches and other mid-major coaches giving interviews, and they're like, we get it. We're in the same profession too. Maybe we're going to be coaching at Vanderbilt or Florida next year as an assistant or something. We understand the system. It's just not fair. And I think it's important for fans also to realize, because I think there was some confusion here about the term about being bought or for a buy game, right? Anytime in college basketball there's an out of conference game, the home team is going to give some amount of money to the visiting team, whether it's you're bringing in an SEC team, whether you're bringing in an America East team or a Division II or NAIA team. That's the game guarantee. Use some of that money to pay for the charter flights and the hotels and the Chick-fil-A after the game, your raw expenses. But if you're a mid-major or a low major, you need to play a couple of those games, pocket the extra money, and use that to pay some of the bills in your athletic department. I collect all this information and write about it on Extra Points. I'll pull it up here. MAC team for fiscal year 25, most of them are earning between 150 and 300,000 a year season from these buy games. And I don't. It's not reasonable to expect Miami to go play at Kansas for free. Nobody does that. You could go book a community college or a YMCA team or a church basketball team. You still got to pay them 10 grand. And that's the way the game is here. I can assure everybody listening, Miami didn't get these games because it wasn't because they were being greedy or demanded too big of a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. And we see that in football, and that's some of the consternation with the SEC giving up that one non-conference game. There are some other schools who aren't in favor as well, because that means that's one less buy game, one less chance for a smaller 1AA, if you will, school to come up with that big paycheck to get beat up 70-10 by the team, and you walk away with the fat check. You're exactly right, because that one game may pay completely for 3 other non-rev sports at that school. I want to get into the legal stuff that we want to talk to you about as well. That we've joked about. And producer Tony uses the line all the time, and he's exactly right. Some of these schools are spending more time in court than actually on the court. And it just feels like right now that the legal issues regarding the NCAA and college teams and players and eligibility has really gotten out of control.
It's hard for me to see a mechanism where this slows down or stops in the immediate future. And a major reason why this is happening is that the economics and finances of participating in college sports have changed. We've had rules about how long you're allowed to play in college for decades and decades. But now, because of house settlement payments, because of collectives, because of both marketing and non-marketing based NIL, for many athletes in baseball and basketball and football for that matter, you can make a lot more money than you in college than you can in the pros, especially if your professional career is likely to be in Europe or in the Mexican baseball leagues or in the kind of dregs of single A or independent ball. You want to be playing in college as long as possible. So now you have an opportunity to show real damages and real harm and potentially missing out on some of that eligibility, especially since we can go back and look at precedent and find that waivers are sometimes granted capriciously or in kind of what seems like random circumstances, right? It was this person gets a hardship waiver because they only got to play in 2 games because of an injury or because of COVID, or because now we have some judges saying that maybe the years you spent playing JUCO or Division II or NAIA ball shouldn't count. And one of the challenging things from the NCAA's perspective here is that these cases are coming up in local court and state court and circuit court. And even though the facts are always going to be a little bit different, not everyone's going to reach the same conclusion. So if you call up Charlie Baker here or somebody from the NCAA, they'll tell you there's a lot of these eligibility lawsuits coming, but we typically win more than 2/3 of them, which is true. But if you don't win all of them, you're going to create legal precedent and incentives for other people to keep pushing those, especially because the difference between playing and not playing might be $1 million. That's attractive for an attorney too. So without either the Supreme Court establishing some kind of ruling precedent, without Congress or the president or establishing some either a change in the law or an antitrust exemption, I think you're going to continue to see a lot of these cases surrounding both eligibility and about NIL enforcement for really probably the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And that's what's the other piece that's just so maddening about this is like we just saw like Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, and we saw, well, let's start with Trinidad Chambliss first in terms of right now, the NCAA, he won his eligibility case, but now the NCAA is refiling to fight that rule. I mean, where does it end?
Oh, I mean, it ends with one of those things, right? It ends with the Supreme Court, like we saw with Alston, where the NCAA was fighting precedent from video game lawsuits and about educational awards, and they had an opportunity to maybe have a compromise in like 2011, 2010. They wanted to keep fighting, and it ended, and they got their butts kicked. And that's one way where this could end. The both Indianapolis and the power conferences are spending a lot of money trying to lobby Congress and the executive branch. We're chatting here on the 6th. There's going to be a conversation at the White House, allegedly, later this afternoon about some of these things, and that's unlikely now, but that could be one mechanism for these things to end. Like, this is the way our legal system works. It takes forever. But you can keep going and going until the buck stops at one of those 2 places. And that's eventually where we're going to end up.
Yeah, and we're unfortunately seeing where we have some judges not recusing themselves, situations where the judge, I don't quote me on this, you would know better, but I think in the Chambliss case, the Charles Bediako case, the basketball player who
Yeah.
played in the NBA G League and then actually did come back and play some games for Alabama. I mean, and before they said, no, you can't, where the judges may have gone to the law school at that school, or they have ties, or there may be boosters at that school, or they go to their season ticket holders. And so there's that bias where it's like, well, wait a minute, how you're not supposed to be biased. You're supposed to judge this on its merits. And is that really happening here when these court cases are going wink, wink to the local system?
Yeah, and part of this is certainly by design from the attorneys, right? You can venue shop a little bit, and people do this in criminal cases. They do this in the Supreme Court all the time. What I think folks need to remember is in many places in the South, there's only 2 or 3 law schools in the whole state. If you're bringing anything in Mississippi, there's a very good chance that your judge did either his BA or his JD at Ole Miss, because there's just not that many other options. It's the same thing in Alabama. These things are by design. Now, is it possible that every judge that went to Ole Miss is not necessarily a Rebels fan or cares about this the same way? Yeah, maybe, but that's unquestionably a factor and an issue that comes up with any kind of college athletics litigation or higher education litigation. And let's just say in this country, some jurisdictions are better at snuffing out those conflicts of interest than others. If you've got great attorneys who are capable of trying to find home court advantage, by God, you could find it in this country.
Yeah, it's insane. And to your point, and not to pick on Chambliss, but it's a high profile. His story is a great story. Division II, Ferris State, transfers to Ole Miss as a backup, ends up taking over, and not only taking over and starring, leading the team into a deep playoff run with all the mess with the coach, but also got his own national NIL deal. He was the guy on some AT&T commercials. So you go from Ferris State, yeah, I mean, and that's the system. And bully for you, that's awesome. But he's a player that is not going to play in the NFL. He's, the chances of him having an NFL career are very, very slim. So there, to your point, there is great incentive for him to play as long as he can in the college game, because that money is going to dry up once his college eligibility does as well.
That's exactly it. And he, in many ways, he's exactly the poster child, or not child. He's a grown man, but poster example. Yeah. For the kind of athlete that really benefits from this particular system versus somebody that maybe went right to the G League, got a cup of coffee in the NBA, realized he couldn't hack it, and then came back. There's Chambliss's payday, other than maybe cutting local car commercials in Oxford, Alabama, or in Northern Michigan. It's going to end in 24 months. I don't blame the guy for doing everything that he's doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's March Madness. We've got a couple minutes here left in the segment talking with Matt Brown. What are you looking forward to here this month? How do you look at this tournament this month, these games, maybe different than the average fan as a sports journalist who does such great work kind of digging in kind of behind the headlines?
I love this event for many of the same reasons that everybody else in this country does, right? I love a good underdog story. I love the fact that because the event goes on for a month, there's a chance for reporters in America to get to know some of the players at the larger programs better than they did over the course of the season. So much of what I do is writing about business and policy and academic, oriented stories. So every year, whenever there's one kind of upset, there's kind of the story like, oh my God, this is going to change the university forever. They're going to go get all these new applicants and everything. Look at all this marketing exposure. And part of what I probably do every year is kind of knock that down a little bit, because that's not really how things work. But you can squint and see examples of where there have been some kind of meaningful change. I think I'll give a quick example before I go. I wrote about this in a free story on Extra Points that went up on Friday. Caught up with some folks at St. Thomas. St. Thomas, by the time you're listening to this, maybe they're not going to make the tournament. They've won 24 games this year. They got the number 2 seed in the Summit League. They're a great basketball team. But this is the first year they're eligible to play in a tournament because they just reclassified to Division I. But unlike most other places, they came from D3. And what I think is so fascinating about St. Thomas is they've got the same coach that was there when they were winning national titles in D3. They've kept him through D1. Their coach is a tenured professor in their psychology department. He has a PhD. And in D3, which there's a couple of ADs that have PhDs. I don't know that many coaches that do. And in D3, that's not super uncommon. Like the AD was telling me, when they won a national title in D3 in 2016, the head coach was their only full-time guy. There was no Dobo. Your assistants are part-time, or maybe they're teaching history somewhere. So when you reclassify, it's like, all right, John, I love you. The first thing we got to do is build an actual staff, right? Like you take these things for granted. You've got your players who, if they were playing D3 last year, they're like, oh my God, I get 5 pairs of free shoes. This is amazing. Like it's a different world than maybe Kentucky's payroll, right? And I think digging into that kind of transition and being able to write about the sport from the very largest to the very opposite of that is a really compelling, interesting story. It's one of the most fun things I get to do all year.
Yeah, you do it so well. In fact, it's funny. That was what I was going to close. I was going to reference that article as we close out our segment here. Always great stuff. And I agree with you. I've told fans year in, year out, and until I'm blue in the face, your team, to become relevant on the national stage, you have to consistently reach the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. That's when all the media says, okay, well, let's learn more about this team. When you do that, that's why a team like Gonzaga finally broke through and became a national team, because they kept reaching the second weekend and they got out of the West and they were doing that. So you're exactly right. Great article there, Matt. Always great stuff. And we encourage everyone to keep supporting what you're doing. Enjoy these games, man. Take care.
Thanks. And you guys too, right? This is a great opportunity, gentlemen, and everyone else you're listening, to go schedule some of those doctor's appointments. You know, take a couple of days off of work, watch some CBS basketball at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, friends.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you've got it down. That's what I do. Schedule them in the morning, that 9 a.m. appointment. And then I took the day off. And then now what am I going to do? Now I'm home, grab a little snack, and there you go. So.
This is the best time of year to get that vasectomy. If you're thinking about it, fellas, you can get a discount somewhere. Just lay out for 48 hours. You're welcome.
That's right. See you guys. That's right. Grab that bag of frozen peas, man. Get that extra bag. Make sure you got extra with Matt. Thanks so much. Matt Brown joining us once again. extrapointsmv.com. Love Matt and what he brings. Please support Extra Points. Just Google Extra Points. It'll pop up. Extra Points MV. Matt Brown does such great work. Please support what he does and the independent sports journalism of so many people around the country. We are big fans. Listen, journalism's not dead. It's not dead. Just sometimes you got to look a little harder for it than what you did maybe 10, 15 years ago. It's just the way it is. We really believe in that. Okay. Man, we went over time. Quick timeout and more to come. Stay with us.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify.
Call 855-826-7932. 855-826-7932. That's 855-826-7932.
Are you tired of your website making your business look bad? Is your current web developer dropping the ball? Let's face it, if your website isn't making you money, it's broken. Let Neon Rain create a website that turns your visitors into customers. Neon Rain has worked with hundreds of businesses across North America, building custom websites and applications with modern designs that are easy to update and work well on mobile devices. They can do it for you too. What sets Neon Rain apart? They actually deliver on their promises. Call today for a free consultation. 303-957-3092. That's Neon Rain at 303-957-3092. Or visit them at neonrain.com.
You're listening to Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
I want to give a shout out as well, talking to Matt Brown there about Miami of Ohio and what a job Travis Steele has done. 31-0 for these Red Hawks as they enter the MAC tournament. Remember, he lost his job at Xavier in 2022, right? Because could have given up, right? Could have thrown it in the towel, but no, he takes the head job instead at Miami University, and look at what he's done here 4 years later, 31-0. It's just what a great journey. Never, ever stop believing in yourself. It's just really so cool. Lots of coaching news coming up here as we now enter the postseason. Probably no surprise that Georgia Tech said goodbye to Damon Stoudemire. 3 years on the job, won 11-20 this year, just 2-16 in the ACC. Finishing just ahead of Georgia Tech in the ACC standings was Boston College. Earl Grant also getting the boot after 5 years, also went 11-20 this year, but hey, 2 wins better in the ACC, 4-14. He was 72-92 overall there with the Eagles. It just doesn't get it done. Ironic that 2 former assistants of Tom Izzo's getting fired on the same day. Eastern Michigan saying goodbye to Stan Heath. He has been a veteran, a longtime assistant with Izzo back in the day, but remember back in 2002, he burst onto the national scene, Kent State reaching, upsetting their way to the Elite Eight, where they lost to eventual national runner-up Indiana. Takes that experience all the way to a job, a week or two later at Arkansas, took over as the head coach. He led the Razorbacks to a couple of NCAA appearances, later led South Florida to the NCAA tournament, but just could not get it done there with the Eastern Michigan. So Stan Heath is out there. By the way, Dwayne Stevens at Western Michigan, also a former Izzo assistant, also getting the boot. Both of these 2 teams, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, going 10-21 in their respective seasons this past year. By the way, Heath, 57-99 in his 4 years. Stevens was 42-84 in his 4 years. Steven, by the way, was an assistant of Izzo's for 19 years. We're both now looking for a job, Stan Heath and Dwayne Stevens. Speaking of Michigan State, so we mentioned they lose to Michigan in Ann Arbor to close out the regular season. They will be the 2 seed coming up here in the Big Ten tournament beginning this weekend. Actually, it begins, I guess, Wednesday night, but they get a triple bye. They'll play in the quarterfinals on Friday in Chicago. Their star point guard, Jeremy Fierce Jr., yet again with another kick to the groin of an opponent. And it's an odd kind of horse kick where he tries to kind of kick behind him and kick the guy in the groin. He did it against Minnesota earlier this year, was caught. Did it against Michigan. Again, he's caught. There have been numerous incidents of, trying to trip. And this isn't me saying this. This is on tape. I mean, you can watch it. You could go Google it right now. It's out there. Tom Izzo defending his player later. But look, at some point, the Big Ten or somebody needs to step in and do something. If the technical fouls aren't enough to dissuade this kind of behavior, it's the kind of thing that, you get a reputation for that. Chris Paul did that at Wake Forest and throughout his NBA career. Grayson Allen did it at Duke and has done it in the NBA. So it's one of those things you become known for. And it's unfortunate because in my mind, Jeremy Fierce Jr. is a better player than this. And Tom Izzo is I've known Tom a long time. He's a better disciplinarian than this. And it's unfortunate that the kind of season Michigan State has had, and yet this is what's hanging over this program is the behavior of one guy, Jeremy Fierce Jr. And it's not fair to the Spartans program, everyone who roots for this program and they're a part of this team. It's not fair. So hopefully something happens before someone gets hurt. Fierce said later, quote, I got fouled. I should have probably just fell. It's an unfortunate situation. No, you guys, you can go watch the tape. I mean, it's what he does. He's done it all the time. And until he stops doing it, somebody's going to get hurt. It's unfortunate. And I hope that's not the case, but it's just kind of where we're headed right now. Fred Hoiberg, by the way, staying in the Big Ten. Nebraska will be the 3 seed in Chicago this weekend. Yes, Nebraska. And so they're rewarding their head coach, Fred Hoiberg, with a new 3-year extension. So he's now signed to coach the Huskers through the 2031-2032 season. What a breakout year they had there in Lincoln. 15 wins in conference play. That's a Big Ten school record. They went 26-5, including their first ever number 5 national ranking. This is how high they climbed in the polls. They set a record for the best start to the season, longest win streak in school history. 3 straight 20-plus win seasons now for the first time ever. Nebraska, things are rolling there. Boy, they are really good. They look good taking on a good Iowa team and beating them on Fox on Sunday. That was a great game to watch as well. We've got some NFL news, too, as we're getting ready for the start of the new season and free agency. And so let the legal tampering begin, where teams can start making free agent deals with players. We're always watching for that. The Miami Dolphins say they are releasing former starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. They will take the biggest cap hit in the history of the NFL. Are you sitting down? This move means they are going to take a $99 million cap hit over the next 2 years. $99 million over 2 years. In other words, they're not going to be doing much in the next 2 years. This is kind of where it happens when you sign these quarterbacks, these massive deals, the way they're structured. Sometimes this happens, and Miami, they'll be paying out. They may not have to pay the money, but the cap hit is real for them. The Rams reaching an agreement with newly acquired quarterback Trent McDuffie on a record 4-year, $124 million contract extension. Makes him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. All this according to ESPN. The deal includes $100 million guaranteed and sets McDuffie up to earn an average of $31 million per season. Wow. Las Vegas Raiders agreeing to a trade for Buffalo Bills veteran quarterback Teron Johnson. This according again to ESPN on Sunday. The Raiders sending a 6th-round pick to the Bills and will receive a 7th-round pick in return. The Bills announcing Friday they were releasing Johnson and 3 other players, but the 4 weren't listed on the transaction wire, leaving the possibility for a trade. The Bills' cap savings, meanwhile, the same, whether Buffalo traded Johnson or cut him outright. That didn't matter. We still be $1.9 million in that. So that's what we have there. Also waiting for the new AP poll coming out. Really few surprises there at the top. It's the final poll before Selection Sunday. A bit of a shakeup. Duke, Arizona, and Michigan all still 1, 2, and 3 in this. Florida is up to 4. No surprise there. Houston jumping up 2 to number 5. UConn falling to number 6. They had the really bad loss to Marquette. They shot just 3 of 24 from 3 in that game. Worst three-point percentage in a game since they lost to Michigan back in November of 2021. And Dan Hurley ejected in the final seconds of that game as well, and got some fans kind of complaining about that. Iowa State comes in at 7th. Michigan State stays at 8. Illinois jumps up to 9. They tied a program record with their 8th road win in Big Ten play. Virginia comes in at number 10. That's up 3 there in the ACC. We mentioned Nebraska. They fell down to 11th. Gonzaga 12. St. John's 13. Kansas at 14. Alabama is at 15. Okay, how can you watch the games and get paid to do so? We'll find out up next.
I get a lot of calls from people across the country who are suffering from the affliction of IRS tax debt, and that's because I have a remedy. Hi, I'm the tax doctor, and if you're having any of these tax issues, call me right now. My team specializes in helping people over the age of 50 solve their tax problems, and the bigger your tax problem is, the more money you can save. If you owe the IRS money, or you're about to owe the IRS money, or even if you need to file years of unfiled returns, call us right now. Our friendly, highly trained representatives are waiting right now to take your call. Over the years, we've helped thousands of people just like you stop the tax liens, wage garnishments, and harassing phone calls. You don't need to send the IRS a big fat check. We can negotiate a lower amount. That's what we guarantee for you. So call us right now. Call 833-789-3068.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 800-413-7158. 800-413-7158. 800-413-7158. That's 800-413-7158.
You're locked in to Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
You know, March is the best time of year when you're a college hoops junkie. Games noon to midnight. Some days you get no sleep. According to a recent survey, 37% of fans admitted to calling in sick or skipping work to watch college basketball. When you work in sports, you don't have to do that. But hey, it's because watching hours all day essentially is a full-time job in March. What you could actually do is get paid to do it. It is a thing. Joining us now with details, NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player, NBA champion, Richard Rip Hamilton. Rip, how are you?
All good, man. How's everything on your end?
Man, I'm great. It's March. I got my No-Dos ready. I got my B12 gummies. I mean, I'm ready to go. Hey, your time at UConn, thinking about that, you know what all the madness is all about. What are you looking forward to seeing here come tournament time?
Oh, watching my UConn Huskies navigate through the tournament and hopefully get back to the national championship. I mean, this is our month, the state of Connecticut's month for men's and women's basketball. So this is our time. I think everybody on the East Coast knows that. So I'm excited to see the team go out there and make some noise.
Yeah, they both. I mean, what Gino's done, and yet again, another undefeated season and heading for possibly a repeat title. Of course, Dan Hurley trying to win a third ring as well. Give us a couple of teams. You can't pick UConn, okay? But it's some other teams that may bust some brackets here this month.
Well, I mean, when you look at some teams out there, there's a lot of great teams out there. I mean, one, you got to look at Michigan, what Dusty's doing out there with that program. They got talent at every spot out there. You want to also look out in North Carolina with the teams that they have out there. I don't like saying the one team, so we're going to say the North Carolina team out there, you know. But one of my former teammates, Carlos Boozer, his boys are studs, man. They've been out there really playing really well in the ACC. You look at Houston, what Sampson's done with the program there, with the guards that he has out there. But if I looked at some teams that can, or some underdogs, that Miami, Ohio team, man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the way that they're playing, I mean, a lot of people talk about mid-major this and mid-major that. Mid-majors are not the same mid-majors we talked about 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Like it's different now. Players are older, you know, guys are transferring from team to team with the portal every season. So I think Oakland University, put them out there. I mean, they made a run in 2024 if they can win their conference. And that's the whole thing with some of these mid-majors, that they got to win their conference to kind of get in, you know. So I think a lot of surprises are going to come from the perspective of that right there, other than Power 5 teams that are on the bottom half of leagues. I think it's going to come from the mid-majors.
Yeah, and that's what makes March mad, right? I mean, when you think about it, there's a contest out there. I know you've talked about that we can get paid to watch college basketball. My ears perked up when I heard this. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I'm partnering with Red Baron Pizza, and to your point, yes, you can get paid to watch college basketball, and you can sign up at redbaron.com/professional fan. And what it is that we're paying one lucky fan $100 an hour, not just him, but 3 of his friends that he invite, that they get $100 an hour each, and also get unlimited amounts of pizza. So I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Like, the days of going to your buddy's house and he's saying everybody got to chip in $1. This could be something that, is not the norm, but also an exciting time.
Yeah. Now, tell us again, how do we get in on this? Where do we go to sign up?
Only thing you have to do is sign up at redbaron.com/professional fan. And you have to sign up before March 12th, because after March 12th, it's going to be too late. So we're taking one lucky fan, and he can invite 3 friends to get paid to watch hoop and eat till you can't eat no more.
Man, okay. Listen, my two favorite loves are basketball and pizza. So I'm in. And I gotta. I mean, I don't know about anybody else listening, but I'm in. I'm jumping in, throwing in my name in. Hey, I want to get you real quick before I let you go. Former NBA title winner with Detroit. Man, the Pistons back on top. I mean, it's exciting to see what they're doing. Not just the winningest team right now in the East, but in the entire NBA. I know you still follow them. And what do you think about this year's team?
Oh, yes, I follow them all the time. I mean, the history that I had there in Detroit and always coming back to support the young guys. For them to kind of stay locked in, especially stay focused and never pointed the finger, especially when, a couple years ago, everybody was trying to make fun of the team. They stuck together and they got healthy. That was the thing. Cade, I think this is the first time we've seen a healthy Cade Cunningham, and he's showcasing that. In my opinion, should be the MVP. And we do it by committee. If you look at all the great Pistons team, we were always on the same page. We played with that grit, right? Something that the NBA has missed for so many years. That grit and that grind, and we have each other's back. And it showed when in Charlotte when Story come running off the bench, like. We're locked in, and so I enjoy watching this group play. They're doing it the right way, and the city of Detroit has their back.
Yeah, well, I know nobody's going to enjoy these next several weeks like you. UConn twice, Detroit Pistons. Man, we our man Mace, missing him. Detroit basketball. All right, Rip.
Yes.
Great to talk to you, man. I know you're super busy, but I appreciate it. And listen, when I'm eating my Red Baron pizza, I'll be thinking of you all during the tournament.
Yes, sir. Make sure you eat the 4 cheese pizza, too.
Okay, you got it. We get some right now. Rip, thanks so much, man. Ray Appleton joining us again, talking about this big contest. Go there, redbaron.com/professional basketball fan. Go check that out. Okay, much more to come. Stay with us.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices on airline tickets are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts with over 500 different airlines, plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. The only way to learn more is make a free call. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next trip. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next trip.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-215-0341. 800-215-0341. 800-215-0341. That's 800-215-0341.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-715-6093. 800-715-6093. That's 800-715-6093.
Okay, producer Tony joining us now. And Tony, it is the week that we look forward to, you and I, going back to the early 90s, the old CNN days. It's tournament week, and this is, like we said last week, this is when really the crazy week of the whole month. I mean, next week is fun because if it's a field of 68, et cetera. But this is one that's exciting because everyone's in action. Let's start first with the women's tournaments are over, and they now get some time off while the men play. Everyone finds out who is going where and playing whom next Sunday. We kind of come out of this weekend. Really, we didn't learn much. The power teams going in or the power teams coming out.
Yeah, I think the women's game has almost taken a turn back to what it was 8 to 10 years ago. You know, UConn was down for a little bit, and that allowed for the rise of some other teams, like an exceptional player like Caitlin Clark, who raised up Iowa to levels they hadn't seen. And we had some different teams involved in championship games and Final Fours, which allowed us to, kind of get into that, okay, this game is changing. And what we've seen this year is more of a return to the status quo. UConn is head and shoulders above the rest. UCLA not far behind, probably the only team that can give UConn a game in a title matchup. And there are two others that are worthy of Final Four mentions in South Carolina and Texas. But other than that, everybody else is just fooling themselves. So, yeah, they're going to be 68 or 64 teams that get into the dance, but realistically, there's 4 that have a shot at a national title, just the way things have worked out. And it also kind of, to me, shows how great Caitlin Clark was in her era to bring it up. And it's nothing against the women's game. It's still exciting. But it just goes to show that there's only so many great players to go around. And when they congregate on 1, 2, or 3 teams, ball game.
Yeah, exactly. No question about that. I thought South Carolina was impressive this weekend. UConn, again, the win streak continues. And UCLA the same way, just taking care of business. Nice job, speaking of Caitlin Clark, of her Iowa team, upsetting Michigan in the Big Ten semis to get to the championship game. Also, South Carolina, I didn't realize their win streak over LSU, like 19 in a row or something. I think I heard part of that telecast. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, they've owned LSU for the last decade and just, completely demolished them mostly when they play, which is interesting, and give hats off to Texas to, take 2 out of 3 from South Carolina this year, win the SEC championship yesterday, and in pretty impressive fashion. It was a 15, 16-point win. That always makes you feel good going into tournament time.
Yeah. And like you said, puts Texas on that list of teams that could legitimately have the conversation about, hey, don't forget about us too. We're over here as well.
But the bad part about it is, Larry, is you see that we got to a Big Ten final. Iowa upset Michigan. You see the distance between Iowa and UCLA. It wasn't like UCLA beat a 9-seed Iowa who had this little miracle run and got to where they were. This is an Iowa team that's a top 10 team, and they couldn't stay within 40 of UCLA.
Yeah, exactly. And that's to your point, again, where it's the haves and have-nots still in women's college basketball. The men's tournaments are starting this week, already have some champions over the weekend. Loved a couple of great stories. First off, Tennessee State. Nolan Smith comes in late. He gets to not until the summer, coming in as a former Duke assistant, and takes Tennessee State to the championship. They win the Ohio Valley, and they're in the dance for the first time in forever. I mean, and this is what we love about March, just the great stories, again, that happen along the way. And that's one of the great storylines we'll be following here next week.
Yeah, you'll watch that. Take a look out for LIU. I didn't realize they were led by Rod Strickland, the former NBA player. So look, don't count them. Don't sleep on them. They're getting in because the team they're playing in the final technically can't go to the tournament. So they're already in. Win or lose, they could use this as a practice game almost. I'm sure they want to win the tournament, but if they don't, they're still going dancing. So, and that's an interesting one to keep an eye out on. And that Northern Iowa team is going to be interesting to keep an eye out on. As we told you earlier, Northern Iowa have been to the dance 3 times. All 3 times, they've managed a first-round win, even beating Texas 10 years ago with that half-court shot.
Yep, exactly. It's going to be fun to watch. More games tonight. And tomorrow night, we'll be here every day. We're going to spend some time kind of breaking down the tournament and maybe even make some picks here into the week. We'll see what happens. Okay, our moment of awe is up next.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
Call 855-227-0286. That's 855-227-0286. Call us right now.
Okay, time now for a moment of awe. And on this day in March of 1979, Bowie Kuhn announcing that Major League Baseball would allow female sports reporters access to all MLB team locker rooms. The decision stemmed from a case brought by Sports Illustrated's Melissa Ludke, who was denied access to the locker rooms while covering the 1977 World Series. It was based on a federal court ruling in 1978 that baseball would have to allow equal access to all genders under the law. Kuhn, with his hand forced by the courts, decided to allow women access to all Major League Baseball locker rooms. A day of victory for women, and it gets our moment of awe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us here today. We appreciate our guests as well. Matt Brown stopping by. Rip Hamilton, good to catch up with him. Go get your pizza. Go get paid. Go there and check that out right now. Let's make this a great Monday. We'll do it again tomorrow here on the Sports IQ.
Thanks for listening to Sports IQ with Larry Smith, Monday through Friday. Continue the conversation at Sports IQ LS. We'll see you next time.